And now with an accidental push of the stop button, we have to start new video. So we're going to continue the same story here. The preamplifier circuit is fine, and the input connection is absolutely great. But in terms of wiring it to the rear panel, there are some challenges. It's very hard to get to it. Just take my word for it. It's challenging because you have to go through the whole unit on the inside. And once you open the unit, you will see a lot of stuff there. It's crazy. So I let Dan handle all this installation with his younger hands and eyes. And he did very, very wonderful job. So if you have this model, I certainly advise you to consider Dan's modification because it works very, very well. Now, the first time I connected this preamp, my preamp to this modified Studer, I was having a little bit of buzz. Actually, too much buzz. It wasn't overwhelming, but it was definitely there. And the remedy was simply to disconnect the ground between the chassis of the Studer and the chassis of the preamplifier. It's a simple job, but you know, that's why some machines have breakable ground link on the back panel. And there is a good reason for that. Because you never know in which particular configuration what's going to produce best result. What's going to result in buzz and what's going to give you very clean, very nice sound. So you always have to experiment. There is simply no standard to design of electronic components. Every company does it its own way. So therefore, in some configurations, when connecting two random pieces together, you may get some minor issues. And the issue is minor indeed. As you're listening now, the system, everything is connected together, but there is absolutely no noise in the system. And I'm sure you noticed that little black box with a red line on top of the machine. That is my favorite wireless remote control. Once again, welcome to this beautiful transmitter. It works like a charm. So if you have this machine, I certainly recommend you buy this particular brand of remote controls. Once again, it's readily available on eBay for a very low price. I think it's priced under $80, which truly is a tremendous bargain. A couple more words about this preamplifier. As you can see, it's got 5 positions for the IQ, selectable by switch, and in this particular case we're going to be using the NAB position because what we're going to be listening today to is a superb recording done by Chuck Ziska. And many of you probably know Chuck because he is essentially a crown guru in our country. But Chuck also has done some recordings, and he was very gracious to let me buy one of his copies. And I think it's a very, very nice direct to tape recording. And the sound quality, I believe, is simply superb. So that's what I'm going to treat you to today. Once again, the system at this point is behaving very, very well. I had some minor issues early on with this machine, but they've been ironed out in part thanks to Dan Labrie again, his participation, his advice. The machine is now running fine. Before I moved this machine into my home environment, it's been living in my office. And that happened before the preamplifier modification and direct output installation. And we listened to it there several times. And every time you would walk away wishing for something just a little bit better. And I know this is such an incredible machine that it almost pains me to say or to express some reservations about its sound. But like I said, it got this family resemblance of its sound, and it's no wonder, because all the electronics in this machine is the same essentially as used in Studer A820, for example. It's the same boards, same audio boards. So at some point, Studer stopped the development of the circuit for audio reproduction and apparently concentrated on building better, more advanced transports. Needless to say, their contribution to the transport design has been immense, and this machine is both incredibly impressive and also a joy to use. It's got more functions than I remember how to use. I only use a subset of its capabilities because my basic need is simply a reproduction of pre-recorded tapes. I honestly cannot tell you how good its recording quality is at this point, because right now my standard for my in-home recording is my Ampex ATR-102. That's also has Dan Labry's fingerprints all over it. He rebuilt that machine, and it's been working like a charm. And it is now my go-to recorder in my collection of machines. What is going to be the role of the A820 in my system? I don't know yet. It is a beautiful machine, it runs like a charm, and when connected to the external preamp, it produces wonderful sound. But is that really going to be the main machine in the center of the system where most reproduction and playback happens? I don't know yet. We'll see, the time will tell. For now, I do like its sound. And that's what I'm gonna show you in a minute. We're gonna play one of the cuts on the Chuck's superb recording tape. And now, with all this said, let me get out of the picture so you could enjoy this wonderful piece. It is 9 minutes long, but I don't think one gets tired listening through it. And once again, my recorder is roughly in the sweet spot of the system, so you would be getting very good sound, I hope.
Arthur Michael on the vibraphones. Tony Belson back there at the drums. Ernie Annucci on guitar. Joe Johnson on string bass. My name is Jerry Fuller. Now we're happy to have Teddy Wilson back with us again at the piano. Thank you.
Now, with all my reservations about the Studer stock sound, am I disappointed in having this machine in my collection? No, not at all. It's simply an incredible piece of engineering. I understand they had specific objectives when designing this particular piece of gear, and they succeeded. And the reputation of this model speaks for itself. It is one of those superb models in the marketplace that you can desire and perhaps own one day. Yes, the maintenance could become an issue because it is a complicated machine. You have to keep it in mind. And it is also ungodly heavy. It takes more than just two guys to carry it around. So you have to keep all the stuff in mind when possibly considering a purchase. But if all that is okay with you, then I think you will be rewarded with a beautiful piece of engineering that works superbly well when calibrated and adjusted. And it is very big joy to just watch it doing its job. So with that in mind, thank you very much again for coming by. I hope you liked this machine and this video. And a couple more words about the preamp, which is now, I think, in the final stage of its development. And now it's probably time to put the top cover on it. In this specific case, the top cover is not going to be a problem. Sometimes you have to remove it to do the internal calibration. Not with this unit. It just happened to be that when you put the top cover on, you can see all the adjustments right through the ventilation gaps in the top cover. So it is very, very convenient in that regard. Yes, you still have to pull it out of its installation, and as you can see here, I still need to figure out the way of mounting the preamp below this machine. So far I have not come across any particularly liked approach, but I'm still looking for different options. So thank you very much, and as usual, please stay well, and please come again. I'll be waiting for you. Bye-bye.